Hi, so I'm going to share a couple of collective messages, and I'm going to start with the fire in the Amazon rainforest, which has been going on for a few weeks, but the news actually became um, worldwide only in the last week, as I understand. So I did a card pull a couple of days ago to ask what message is in this for us collectively. I basically asked Gaia, Mother Earth, what messages are coming through. How can we see this from a bigger picture, and what's the messages? So I used the Mermaid Tarot, and what I got, I'm going to show to you what I got. So I had Knight of Swords. So they're slightly different in meaning from the traditional decks like Rider-Waite, but there's still similarities. And yes, so the Tower and the Hierophant. So I'll just let you take a look at those for a bit, the symbolism. So my initial intuitive message that came through seeing these cards together is in short, the destruction and abruption. So that destruction and abruption, so that the book of Earth can be rewritten. So after a while, after looking a little bit into the meanings of the cards that the author of the deck has also written, it was very similar. So basically this one comes up as don't try to control these energies. So basically we shouldn't try to control these changes, these energies, these upheavals, earth upheavals. We should, as much as possible, ride them and try to flow with them. That's obviously easier said than done, especially if you're in areas that are affected by natural catastrophes and things like that. But it's not just natural upheavals. There's also obviously political upheavals and a lot of other things going on. The second card, it kind of speaks for itself pretty much, and obviously the Tower card, if you are familiar with the tarot, this has very much the same meaning as the traditional tarot. So it's destruction as a fact of life. None of us can escape it. We need destruction. Something needs to be destroyed from time to time in order for something new to be rebuilt. And this is obviously in this reading on a collective level, on an earth level. And then the last card, this is slightly different from the traditional Hierophant, but still has obvious similarities. So it's a person, or it's that a person who keeps knowledge and writes knowledge and keeps the library. And as I see it in this reading, seeing it from a collective earth level, it's the book of life, the book of Earth. So we need this destruction on a certain level, and I'm not now talking about the politics around it and all of that. I don't think anyone really knows exactly what's going on, and I certainly don't, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from a higher perspective. Some destruction is needed, unfortunately, although it can be hard to accept, especially something like the Amazon rainforest burning. It seems very negative, but it's from the message I got from Gaia, basically, is that some destruction is needed from time to time. We think that things are going to stay forever, but the Amazon rainforest hasn't always been there. We've found out that when some of the forest has been cut down, they've actually found old cities, ancient cities that used to be there. And how I see it, that's a little bit of an excursion. So how I see it with this card, something needs to be, from time to time, destroyed. Even things that seem good and are good need to be destroyed for something new to come forth. And I see a connection to history and how history has been told to us. And I also see that history is about to be retold. There's a lot of things already coming out, like I said, and you can check out Graham Hancock. He's got a quite new book about the history of America, hidden history of America, history that we are not taught in normal history lessons. So because they've already found sites in the Amazon which completely redefines how we see history, or could completely redefine if it comes out as more general accepted knowledge. I have a feeling that this might or might not, but this destruction, obviously you've got fire here as well, so it's quite obvious. This destruction could lead to more information coming out in terms of the history of those areas and what used to be under the Amazon rainforest, and there might be more structures of old cities, ancient cities coming forth and forcing us to retell history and examine what we have been taught so far. And yeah, so that's so things that were hidden will surface basically, and that will mean that we will need to rewrite and rethink what we've been taught. So how does that tie into the other things and the other collective messages I wanted to talk about in this video, which is regarding a dream vision I had in January of this year, so quite a few months ago. And since then I have realized that there are quite a lot of people, both, quite a lot of intuitive people, both people who identify as being intuitive, but also others. I've come across people who have had very similar dreams. At the time, it was a very visual, very I pay attention when I dream a lot, but I pay attention when I have very visual, very strong dreams that I remember very clearly when I wake up. And this dream, I wrote it down and I kind of put it aside because I didn't really know what to make of it at the time, but it's made more sense since. So in this dream, I was in a city and I saw the moon, or a moon, in the sky. It was very close to Earth. It was very large and very close to Earth. And it split into two pieces, one smaller piece and one large piece. And people were standing there looking up at it, and including me. And this is how it looked. So this is from my diary from that day. So I'm just going to cover up the rest because you don't need to see that. But this is basically, you see, this is how the little drawing I did. And all of a sudden, the smaller piece fell to Earth. And there was a bit of fear, panic ensued. And as it fell to Earth, or as it dropped to the earth. There were what I could only describe as demons or beings, kind of astral beings coming out of the piece of the moon and spreading. So almost like a Pandora's box opening, and people started panicking and running. I don't remember feeling panicked or scared myself, but that's the point when I woke up. And like I said, I've come across a lot of people having similar visions in the dreams during around the same time or later on this year, within the last few months. And people dreaming about, I'm not going to mention names because that's obviously, well, it's mainly from YouTube. I found people having similar dreams. And about moons, several moons, or even fractured moons, about people looking up at the sky, and specifically about moons. There's been some differences in the dreams, but all of them that I've come across, they've had the symbolism of the moon, and people looking up in the sky and having this, and in the dream, there's been this feeling, they've said, of upheaval, of panic, people being scared, it feeling like something big is happening on a collective level. So the symbolism of the moon, first of all, in astrology and tarot. So you got the moon card here, for example, in the Rider-Waite tarot. So in general, the moon is symbolizing illusion, hidden knowledge, or that which is hidden, deception, subconscious. So then we can look at it both from a obviously personal subconscious, but also collective subconscious, what lies under the surface. And also patterns, and subconscious patterns. Yeah. So that can also mean, on a collective level, old collective patterns and paradigms being disrupted or destroyed. Or that which is hidden coming out, like an opening of a Pandora's box, like I mentioned. Obviously you've got water, which is also emotion, subconscious. You've got Scorpio, which is very connected to subconscious, hidden knowledge. So I then saw a video, an astrologist, her name is Molly McCord. She did an astrology video the other week for August 14th to the 21st. But I think really some of the things she mentioned has to do with general energies, which are going to continue to go on beyond that time, because it's now after August the 21st. And she talked about how, on a collective level, she talked about Jeffrey Epstein and those things, those news stories going on at the moment. And she was talking about that there's going to be a domino effect. Things are going to come out of the hidden. Things collectively are going to come out from where it has been hidden. And obviously someone like Jeffrey Epstein is just one aspect. It's just one person, but it's such a bigger picture that we need to look at. And more things will be revealed, more things, deception will be destroyed, the illusions will be dismantled, and on a collective level, that's going to feel, and already you're starting to see some of that, that's going to feel like a big collective upheaval, a little bit like how me and others experienced the dream, that people felt there is something almost like apocalyptic kind of energy. So this can also be tied back to the fire in the Amazon rainforest, although that's not directly connected to these political scandals and Jeffrey Epstein and so on. But we need to look at things from a bigger perspective. And, if things are unraveling and also becoming, and if things will be, which I'm not sure that's what it means, but if things will be, if things in terms of history, the history of that area of the world, the real history will be revealed. There can be a connection there with things, illusions and things that have been hidden from us as a collective, and deception that has been ongoing, really, and especially in the age of Pisces, which we are coming out of. Some of you that know about the astrological ages, you might be familiar with that. The age of Pisces is connected to illusion, hidden agendas. There's also positive things, but I'm not talking about things that might not necessarily sound positive as such, but things like hidden agendas, illusion. And we're now moving into Age of Aquarius, which is more, you can already see some of those effects where information is becoming more open. Information is coming out that the powers that be might not want to have in the open. And that's going to feel like an upheaval, and that's ongoing, and it's going to continue. So I hope some of that gave you some something or some insight or something that you can look into yourself, and I will see you soon.